Let's start our quantum mechanics series by simple derivation of Schrödinger equation. We need these things: basic algebra, basic calculus, and of course we know that total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Energy is expressed as h nu. H is Planck's constant, nu is frequency, and momentum is given by de Broglie relation. This is the particle property, this is the wave property. So this is basically a relation between particle and wave property. As we know, total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Kinetic energy is half mv square, that is the energy coming out from the velocity. Potential energy is depending on whether we are, where we are standing. It could be gravitational potential energy, it could be electrical potential energy, etc. And we know P equal to mv, so P square by twice m. If we make it a square, P square, so it will be m square V square, and then I will divide by twice m and I will get half mv square. So instead of half mv square kinetic energy, we can put P square by twice m. This is exactly what I have written here. Now for a wave equation, for an expression of wave, we can write this. This is the basic expressions: psi equal to e to the power I kx minus omega t, because we know that e to the power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, and cos sin both represent basic waves, sinusoidal waves. If we differentiate this wave equation with respect to the position, that is x, we will get ik e to the power I kx minus omega t. So for instead of e to the power I kx minus omega t, we can put psi. So d psi dx is equal to I k psi. If we again make a derivative of this, then it will be d2 psi dx square, and we get minus k square into psi. What is k? We know that k is known as the Webb number, and k is equal to 2 pi by lambda. The introduction of k and with this relation kind of thing, wave number, is given in my wave video. Now as k equal to 2 pi by lambda and p equal to h by lambda, which is the de Broglie relation, we can find out that p equal to, in place of lambda, we can write lambda equal to 2 pi by k. So Planck's constant is defined in a new way as h by 2 pi, that is reduced Planck constant, which is equal to h cross equal to h by twice pi, and we get p equal to h cross k. So for d2 psi dx square, I can write minus p square by h cross square from this relation. Instead of k square, I have written p square by h cross square. So it's d2 psi dx square equal to minus p square by h cross square into psi. Multiplying with minus h cross square, I will get minus h cross square d2 psi dx square equal to p square. And as energy equal, total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Kinetic energy term is p square by twice m. Potential energy term, I have written u. I will substitute the form, whatever may be the case. And if we apply this relation on a wave function psi, I will get this relation: E psi equal to p square by twice m into psi plus u psi. And this is my p square psi equal to minus h cross square d2 psi dx square. So I will get this relation 1, E psi equal to minus h cross square by twice m d2 psi dx square plus u psi. This is time independent Schrödinger equation. We know energy E equal to h cross omega, or in terms of linear frequency we can write it as E equal to h nu, because this is linear frequency, this is circular frequency, this is the relation between them. So for nu, we can write omega by twice pi. And if I use the wave function, the form of the wave function psi equal to the power I kx minus omega t, and derive it with respect to the to time, I will get d psi dt equal to minus I omega to the power I kx minus omega t, which is equal to nothing but minus I omega psi, because except this minus I omega term, this whole thing is equal to psi. So again I am writing the energy equation. Energy is operated on the wave function psi. We know E equal to h cross omega. So E psi equal to h cross omega psi. This one. And now I am multiplying by minus I by h cross. So it's minus I by h cross omega psi, which becomes h cross cancel out. So I get minus I omega psi. So for minus I by h cross e psi, I will have minus I omega psi. And now it's a minus I h cross e psi equal to d psi dt, because I have already derived it here. This is minus I omega psi, and I have just derived that minus I omega psi equal to minus I e by h cross. That's what I have written here. So it's minus I by h cross e psi equal to d psi dt. So e psi equal to h cross by minus I. And if I keep this if I make this I to shift in the numerator, it will be just plus I. It's plus I h cross d psi dt. So I get E psi equal to plus I h cross d psi dt. And again E equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. So I will get I h cross d psi dt equal to minus h cross square by twice m d2 psi dx square plus u psi. I am just using equation 1 here, and I will get equation 2. This is time dependent Schrodinger equation because of the time factor in the left hand side. Now what is the significance of this wave function? What the information it gives to us about the system? Now the basic reason for quantum mechanics, that is already in my video. What is the reason behind quantum mechanics is, first it was thought that electron is spiraling around nucleus, and a quite obvious question was, during this spiraling it must radiate its energy. So as soon as it readily spends its whole energy, it will eventually jumps into the nucleus. So the existence of the atom will be no more. But the atom is a very stable kind of thing. This can be prevented if we consider electron not as particle but as wave. And with a wave we can associate wave function. This is basic form of wave function, psi equal to e to the power I kx minus omega t, where I is equal to root over minus 1. This comes from this kind of situation where I get a square equal to minus b square. Probably I won't get any solution of this equation. Then I can write a equal to minus ib, because if I write a equal to minus ib, it will give me a square equal to minus b square. So solution of this equation is a equal to minus ib, and I is an imaginary quantity. And I square equal to minus 1. We know that any two term, whatever may be maybe it's a positive or a negative, if it is multiplied with itself, it gives me a positive term, positive number always. If I multiply minus 2, I'll get plus 4. If I multiply 5 into 5, I get obviously plus 25. If I multiply minus 9, I'll get plus 81. Hence, this is an imaginary kind of thing. Now, there is a basic mathematical relation which says, if I write psi equal to the power I alpha x, then I can easily expand it like cos alpha x plus I sin alpha x, where cos alpha x is the real part of the wave function, I sin alpha x is the imaginary part of the wave function. First, let's take the real part, that is the cosine part. And let's begin with the space part only, that is cos kx. K is equal to twice pi by omega. So cos kx equal to cos 2 pi by lambda into x. K equal to 2 pi by lambda. Lambda is the wavelength. If x equal to lambda, that is just one wavelength, that is distance between two consecutive crests. Putting x equal to lambda will give me cos 2 pi. Cos 2 pi is equal to 1. So if I put x equal to 0 or twice pi or 4 pi or 6 pi, etc., I will get obviously a greater amplitude. Just let me tell you one thing. This is for a simple amplitude, amplitude 1. But if I want higher amplitude terms, then I have to multiply whole thing with the amplitude A if I want greater amplitudes. And this is a standing wave. This is not moving anywhere. Now let's take the time part also in the real part of the wave function psi. It's cos kx minus omega t. This is a progressive wave moving rightwards with a velocity v. Now if the amplitude is maximum, then this cos part has to be 1, which means kx minus omega t is equal to 0. And if kx minus omega t equal to 0, then kx equal to omega t, and then x by t equal to omega by k. X is position, t is time, so it's speed equal to v equal to omega by k here. So if there is omega and k, I will have information about the speed of the wave. What is omega? We know that omega is circular frequency, and its relation with the linear frequency is omega equal to twice pi nu or twice pi f. K is the wave number, k equal to 2 pi by lambda. So omega by k is nu into lambda, that is frequency into wavelength. And we know that frequency into wavelength is nothing but the speed. So this omega by k will give me the speed. And what is k? What is actually we can measure by measuring k? We know p equal to h by lambda from de Broglie relation, and k equal to 2 pi by lambda. So lambda is equal to twice pi by k, and I will get p equal to h cross k. And p equal to h cross k gives me that k is actually giving us a measurement of the momentum of the wave.